So I have a story to tell. I have a story to share with you guys. So I was talking to this guy on an app who seemed really cool and really different from the regular crowd on apps, meaning really polite, thoughtful, and like curious, like an intellectually cultured person, and even like spiritual, like just the way, like his look and like the way he spoke. Loves to travel. Interesting guy. So back and forth, good conversation, and he's like, I want to meet you. So he lives in New York City, but he was visiting his parents in Fort Lauderdale, which is like 40 minutes. He said he was 40 minutes away from where I live in Miami, and he was like, let's meet up. I'm gonna come down. So the night that we're supposed to meet, he's like, hey, it's gonna take me 40 minutes to come see you, but my sister's in the bathroom, and I want to shower before I leave. So I go, oh, is there only one bathroom? Like, upset emoji face, like, oh, like that sucks. In my mind, saying that in an innocuous way, like, oh, like that's the worst when like you have to wait on somebody to get out of the bathroom because you need to use the bathroom, right? And he goes, what if there's only one bathroom or something like that? And I'm like, there's only one bathroom. That would explain why you have to wait for your sister to get out of the bathroom to shower, right? And he's like, yeah, but I just don't understand why you would say that. Like, that's kind of a bizarre thing to say to somebody who you don't know. And then it's clicking for me, like, oh, like maybe he thought it's like an elitist comment, like, oh, you're in a house with one bathroom, which is not what I meant. Like, first off, it's not even your house, it's your parents' house. Like, I have relatives who have, my grandparents had only one bathroom in their apartment. Like, I have one bathroom in my apartment. I live alone, so it's a little different, but like, whatever. I've been on family trips where there's one bathroom, and it's like, it's the worst, right? When you have to like share with your siblings, or even growing up, we had more than one bathroom, but it's like, if the bathroom is like adjacent to both bedrooms with your siblings, right? Then it's like, you might be kind of fighting for the bathroom. Like, that's a very familiar experience that I think probably most people have, unless you're maybe an only child. But I didn't mean anything condescending or elitist by it. And so then I sent him a voice note so that he can, because sometimes tone gets lost in text messages. So I'm like, let me, he'll hear that I'm not like this rude, classist person trying to like diss his family or whatever. And he kind of kept harping on it. He was like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. It just, I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I found myself like defending my character to this stranger because I was into him, right? I'm like, and I also don't want to be misunderstood. It's a shitty feeling when you feel like you're being judged for poor character and it's not at all, what you meant. But, interestingly, back and forth, and he's like, maybe we should try tomorrow. I'll be around. And I said, well, tomorrow I'm going to be, my cousin's visiting, but maybe the day after that, and he was like, yeah, let's like figure it out. I'll be down there in Miami the day after. But, after this happened, the whole night I thought about it, and it just kind of like, you don't feel good about it. Like, you feel irked. I went from feeling like I needed to defend myself to then feeling almost like exhausted by it. Like, why should I have to defend myself? Like, I clearly didn't mean it in that way. I explained myself and I apologized anyway. And it feels like this guy's like, I don't know, trying to like dig for something that's not really there. So the next day I'm working at my desk and I check the app and I see that he's nearby because it's Grindr. So I see him on the grid. He's like 2 people away. And I'm like, oh, he's in the neighborhood. I had said that I couldn't see him the next day because my cousin would be here, but I thought he meant like at night. I'm realizing he's there during the day, and I was finishing up work, thinking about going to the beach. And so I message him, because remember, I'm like, I'm still really into this guy. We just had this weird hiccup that, I felt rejected, but I'm like, you know what, just reach out, meet him in person, and then you can see if there's something there. And so I do, and he responded immediately, and he's like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm at the beach. And I'm like, oh, cool, I was thinking about going to the beach. And he's like, come down, like, come meet me, this is where I am. So I'm like, you know what, he's meeting me halfway, like, we got over that little speed bump. So I finish up working, I go to the beach to meet him. It's funny, like, he was physically attractive like I thought he would be. Like, I was attracted to him, and I see him in person, and I'm still attracted to him. But I was turned off by, I guess, his personality. In person, he didn't seem as, I guess, sophisticated as the guy I was talking to. Like, I almost felt like I was talking to a boy, like a child, as opposed to a man. Like in trying to converse with him, he was very like shy and not really inquisitive or conversational. Like I almost felt like I was intruding on his beach day, even though he had said like, come meet me. And I have the thing from the day before in my head, and in the moment I'm like, I'm not even really into this guy. Like I thought I was into him. I was into the guy from the app. I was into the profile of the guy from the app. But the guy in real life is like, doesn't seem that interesting. And then I became kind of resentful. This is, again, I'm just keeping this in my head. I'm not vocalizing this to him. But in my head, I'm like, he made me feel weird about something that really like was not a big deal. And now that I'm meeting him, I guess I had thought that, oh, he's like a very sensitive soul. He really is spiritual, that he like is very anti, elitist energy and stuff. Like in a weird way, even though it's not a good feeling to feel judged by someone for that. I thought, oh, he's like a very thoughtful person. And then now the guy in person, I was realizing, oh, this guy's like, I don't want to say socially awkward, that's like a little heavy, but just like not super socially graceful, we'll say. And at that point I realized like, oh, like I did nothing wrong. This is just a person that I'm like not at all compatible with. And when I go to the beach, I like to go for a walk. I invited him along, of course. I said, hey, I'm gonna go for a stroll. Do you want to join me? He was like, I'm just gonna chill here. But secretly in my head, I was pleased because he had just said that he could only stay another half hour at the beach. And I'm like, you know what? By the time I come back, he'll probably be gone. No awkwardness necessary. And I was right. When I came back, he was already gone. And he messaged me to say like, hey, I'm leaving. I don't see you, but have a good rest of your day. And it's just funny how this has happened to me before, that I'll build somebody up and then they'll reject me or they'll make me feel rejected. And then I'll meet them in person just by coincidence. Like I run into them or, I don't know, I'll see them around town and I'm like, oh, this isn't how the guy I imagined. This is not how the guy imagined I thought would look or present himself. And I realized I have a habit of doing this, of over-romanticizing somebody from a dating app to who I want them to be. Or even men I've met at bars in the past. It's like sometimes I'd be like, wow, I'm so into this guy. And then they would do something that would irk me, but I still felt like I really want to get to know this person. And years later, I would look back at that rejection or that interaction and think like, the person can't be that special if they're making you feel that way. And it's taken me years to realize the importance of trusting my instincts, and it's still something clearly that I struggle with based on this experience. Like that alone, I told this story to my friend and she was like, that bathroom thing alone would have turned me off. And yet here I am thinking like, oh, I did something wrong, like I have to prove myself to this person who I'm interested in, and come to find out, he ain't even that interesting. Do you guys have similar experiences, particularly with apps where like the person in the profile, you're more mesmerized by them? And I'm not just talking physically, I'm talking like how they talk, how they communicate is just different from the person you meet.